Hello. I'm just going to give you a little taste of these Lime Cordial bottles that we recently excavated from the site of the former Edinburgh and Leith Glass Company on Salamander Street. There's a history of glassmaking in Leith going back to the third quarter of the 17th century, with the first glasshouse built within the citadel, then along the western side of the water of Leith near Commercial Wharf from the later 17th to mid-18th centuries, and finally from around 1746 in South Leith, where the Edinburgh Glasshouse Company established a new glassworks fronting onto Salamander Street. Excavations by AOC in 2021 uncovered the remains of the glassworks at Salamander Street with a total of 4 glasshouses identified, as well as numerous ancillary structures, workshops, and other associated features relating to both the earlier Edinburgh Glasshouse Company, the later Edinburgh and Leith Glass Company, and the various works, stores, and stables that occupied the site afterwards. These glassworks were largely associated with the production of wine and ale bottles, but were also producing crown window glass, particularly for supply of the growing Newtown, as well as carboys, carbonated bottles, and other types of drinks bottle glass, flint glass, and numerous other products. The excavations by AOC at Salamander Street produced over 390 kilograms of glass, including over 6,000 objects and fragments, and almost 65 kilograms of glassworking waste, reflecting the various aspects and stages of glass production. Glassworking tools were also identified, which includes a large pair of tweezers for manipulating and shaping the glass, and a long knife used for scoring and trimming, amongst other items, which you can see the tools there. A nationally significant assemblage, the majority of the glass recovered is datable to the second and third quarters of the 19th century, which relates to the operation of the Edinburgh and Leith Glass Company, though a considerable amount of late 18th and early 19th century glass was also identified, representing products of the earlier Edinburgh Glasshouse Company. A significant assemblage of cordial bottles was present amongst the glass. Most were readily identifiable by a distinctive embossed lime and leaf pattern, which represent lime juice cordial bottles produced by the L. Rosen Company. Over 29 kilograms of bottle fragments from L. Rosen Co. were recovered from numerous contexts, including some from in situ deposits within one of the glass cones. Definite concentrations of cordial bottle fragments were noted within ancillary structures associated with the 2 cones in the western half of the site, some of which likely represent deposits of cullet collected for later recycling. At least 3 cordial bottle forms are present, including both cylindrical and flask-shaped bottles, and no intact bottles were recovered, with the fragments representing base and body shards, neck shards, and finishes. There's almost a complete lack of shoulder shards, and it is likely that the shoulder breakages were what led to a significant number of bottles being discarded. Lachlan Rose was a former ship chandler in Leith and came from a family of shipbuilders who were later associated with the provisioning of ships, including supplying them with lime juice to help combat scurvy, which at the time was mixed with rum. L. Rosen Co. was established in 1865 as lime juice and wine merchants, continuing to supply ships with provisions, though Lachlan Rose had a notion to create a marketable sweetened lime drink that could be enjoyed by both sailors and the general public, while crucially omitting the involvement of alcohol. L. Rose patented a method for preserving citrus juice in 1867, which led to the production of what was dubbed the world's first and still surviving branded fruit drink, and quickly became a huge success both at sea and on dry land. Rose's lime juice cordial is still available and enjoyed today, now under the ownership of Coca-Cola, and is famously an essential ingredient in the gin cocktail, the gimlet. Scurvy, a disease caused by an extreme deficiency in vitamin C, can cause a number of horrific symptoms, eventually leading to blindness and death. The disease was particularly rampant amongst shipborne passengers and crew, as well as within other isolated communities, including military camps and prisons where food provisioning and fresh food supply were poor. Numerous cures were attempted, including ingesting various mixtures of vinegar, molasses, and sauerkraut, as well as bathing in animal blood and burial up to the neck in sand. Citrus fruit was also tested as a cure from time to time to varying success, with the Royal Navy eventually supplying ships with lemon juice by the 1790s. 1867 brought the Merchant Shipping Act, requiring by law provisions of lime and lemon juice to be kept aboard both naval and merchant ships to combat scurvy on voyages exceeding 10 days. At the same time, Lachlan Rose submitted his patent for preserving juice using sulfuric acid and sugar within airtight bottles instead of alcohol, which made it accessible and attractive to the wider public, which all took place against the backdrop of prohibition and increasing concerns over general health. Initial investigations of the L. Rose cordial bottle assemblage has identified at least 3 separate bottle types, including a plain cylindrical bottle with embossed lettering, and both cylindrical and flask-shaped bottles embossed with a distinctive lime and leaf pattern that was trademarked in 1868 and still features on the plastic bottles available today. By 1868, L. Rose was producing 4 separate products, which included lime juice cordial, lime ginger cordial, prepared lime juice, and lime juice champagne. What is not clear presently is if the variations seen in the embossed cylindrical bottles represent different products or evolutions in the same bottle design. The embossed cylindrical bottle with a sloping shoulder was by far the most common type recovered, followed by the flask shape, which may have been intended specifically for use aboard ship, then followed by the plain, non-embossed cylindrical, of which there are only a few examples. These cordial bottles were clearly produced on site, with contextual evidence presented by cullet deposits and in situ deposits within one of the glass houses, and physical evidence in the fragments themselves, which display numerous fabric flaws, excessive bubbles and inclusions, malformed examples, variations in wall thickness, and significant variations in color often within the same bottle type. This last point is of potential significance when you consider the widespread marketing of this product to the general public, where bottle form and content color all contribute to brand recognition, and any variations in bottle color and form could lead to a perception of variations in product quality. There seems to have been extensive losses of cordial bottles during the manufacturing stage, many likely caused by shoulder breakages, potentially due to these inconsistent fabric thicknesses. The known dates of the establishment of the L. Rose & Co. and the final closure of the Edinburgh and Leith Glass Company places the production of these cordial bottles in a 9-year period between 1865 and 1874. These dates can be further refined upon closer examination, given that the bottle types are embossed with the word patentees, indicating that they all date from at least 1867 when the patent was filed, closing the date range for production to a mere 7 years. Quite significantly, the plain cylindrical bottles lacking the lime and leaf pattern, to which no parallels have yet been identified, may predate the trademarked lime and leaf pattern and could be dated specifically to 1867, after the patent was filed and before the design was trademarked. This brief overlap in time marks a period in Leith's history where bottles produced at Salamander Street were being sent down the road for bottling at Rose's factory on Commercial Street, where they were then shipped via the adjacent docks to numerous ports and markets, en route to an enduring global success. Research into these cordial bottles, as well as the rest of the glass, is ongoing, which includes scientific analysis, using X-ray fluorescence to get a better understanding of the glass's chemical composition, as well as further specialist analysis, which is looking more closely at the bottle types and the variations in form, etc. As well as some of the other avenues of exploration that maybe we can uncover with further analysis. Finally, I would like to pay a special thank you to Robin Murdoch for his interest and input on the site and the glass assemblage. This is a project that he was very excited and enthusiastic about, and his expertise and advice was greatly appreciated.